guys. Welcome to Story Sirens, the podcast where we deep dive in myths and legends from around the world, including tales from our favorite holidays. I'm Yenny.
And I'm Sarah. And we want to ask you something, dear listener. Are you wearing green?
If not, you shall be pinched.
Now, Yenny, be nice. We can't go pinching the hand that feeds us.
Maybe a little pinch?
Okay, a little pinch.
Yes. All right, in honor and celebration of St. Patrick's Day, what better topic to speak about on today's episode than that of one of the most festive holidays? We're talking green everywhere, beaded necklaces galore, shamrocks on every door, leprechauns frolicking about, and lots of green-dyed food and drinks. Green eggs and ham, anybody?
Ooh.
But where and how did these traditions start? Who is this St. Patrick, and how did his celebratory day become known throughout the world? Let's deep dive, y'all.
Let's.
Time to take a trip back to the 4th century, specifically in Roman Britain, to a wealthy family with a son named Patrick. The father was a deacon and a local official, so we could assume that his life was pretty good in the beginning. But alas, as with all our stories, the happy times just don't last for long.
But then, it'd just be too boring. So, when Patrick was around 16 years old, Irish raiders attacked his family's home and kidnapped Patrick. He was sold into slavery and spent the next 6 years in Ireland. He was to be a shepherd, and as a result, was often isolated from other people. In his fear and loneliness, Patrick turned to his Christian faith for comfort. During this time, Patrick began to have dreams detailing how he was to escape his captivity. After over 6 years of slavery, Patrick heard a voice tell him it was time to flee Ireland. Patrick escaped from his master and found a ship that would grant him passage to Britain. Some historical accounts say Patrick was freed by his master.
Now, his passage to Britain wasn't exactly all that easy. He actually suffered near starvation and then was captured yet again before finally making it back to his family.
Sounds a little bit like an Odyssey, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, or a journey to the not 7 seas. So,
Upon his return home and reuniting with his family, Patrick began to have more strange dreams. He believed God was telling him he needed to return to Ireland and share his faith with the Irish. Now, at this time, the most prominent religion in Ireland was Druidic practices. There were a few Christians in Ireland, but Patrick believed it was his duty to spread the word of God and further grow Christianity in Ireland. Patrick began his religious training, a process which took around 15 years for him to complete. After he was ordained as a priest, it was time to travel back to the Emerald Isle. Now, legend has it that Patrick wasn't actually the saint's original name, but instead was the name he chose for himself after he became a priest. Or, more precisely, he chose the name Patricius, which means father figure. Now, despite his fervor and passion for his mission, Patrick often doubted his own abilities. He was, naturally, afraid to return to Ireland, but he also felt underqualified and that he wasn't educated enough. A little imposter syndrome, if you were.
I believe so.
However, when he did finally return to Ireland, he dedicated himself wholeheartedly to his mission, placing his faith in God and not in himself. As he traveled across Ireland, he always presented gifts to clan leaders and town officials as a way to ingratiate himself to his hosts. When he was offered gifts in return, he politely declined. He was compassionate towards the people who showed interest in his teachings, using elements of nature, which the Druids would have been most familiar with, to help illustrate his teachings in Christianity. Still, his life was frequently in danger from angry individuals and mobs alike, and he was imprisoned a few times during his ministry.
But what made St. Patrick so beloved by all? Not many would write like St. Patrick did, laying his soul bare and writing his heart out. As his time on earth ended, he retired to the town Saul in Northern Ireland, where he wrote his Confessio, detailing his life and his belief in God.
Many historians and theologians have commented that St. Patrick's diaries were some of the most sincere and vulnerable writings in Christian history, and frequently compare them to the writings of St. Augustine.
It is said that an angel appeared before St. Patrick and told him that he would die at Saul, where his first church was built. Legends of this saint have grown throughout the centuries, one of which being that he raised 33 people from the dead. And not just recently dead. We're talking about they've been dead for a while.
Dead.
Yeah, dead. But we've got some debunking to do, and I'll let Sarah share some of those.
Debunking St. Patrick's Day myths. We all associate green with St. Patrick's Day, but early Christians associated the color blue with him. After all, blue was part of Ireland's first coat of arms. Green became associated with St. Patrick around the 18th century.
Now, why green, you ask? Irish rebellion, of course.
Naturally.
During the centuries Ireland was ruled by the English, the color blue became very distasteful to the Irish. First, in 1541, King Henry VIII created Ireland's coat of arms, a golden harp on a blue background, like Sarah had mentioned. The Irish were not impressed. They chose a different color to symbolize their country, green, the color of the shamrock. During the Great Irish Rebellion of 1641, the Irish military sailed their vessels with the coat of arms Henry VIII had created, except with a green background instead of a blue one. Then in the late 1700s, King George III created a new order of chivalry, the Order of St. Patrick, with its official color being sky blue. The Society of United Irishmen, a nationalist group hoping to overthrow the English rule like the Americans had, began using the color green to symbolize their cause. To show solidarity and also not be spotted by the English as easily, people wore a subtle hint of green on them, particularly a shamrock or even a green feather on their hats. Unfortunately, the rebels weren't successful. But the symbol of the color green continued, even with the English trying to suppress all forms of rebellion. In Paul F. State's book, A Brief History of Ireland, he wrote about a street ballad that was written by an anonymous rebel around 1798. Here's an excerpt.
When law can stop the blades of grass from growing as they grow, and when the leaves in summertime their verdure dare not show, then I will change the colour that I'm wearing in my cobbing, but until that day, please God, I'll stick to wearing, the green.
As the Irish immigrated to the U.S., they kept their traditions. As we know, Santa Claus was a part of the Irish too.
Thank goodness.
And they kept the traditions of wearing green. And because of that, it became a widely used color throughout St. Patrick's Day traditions. Actually, 82% of those who celebrate St. Patrick's Day today wear green.
I know I try to, and I don't even think we have Irish ancestry.
Yeah, there you go. I have tried to as well.
So another myth for St. Patrick's Day is the myth of the four-leaf clover. St. Patrick is often associated with the four-leaf clover. But despite the lucky nature of this little plant, St. Patrick was reported to have used three-leaf clovers in his religious teachings, specifically when he was trying to explain the Holy Trinity.
I would like to mention that alongside his teachings, perhaps it is coincidence, or not, that shamrocks are also the national flower of Ireland, which Irish wear on their lapels during St. Patrick's Day.
Well, St. Patrick is considered the patron saint of Ireland, so of course he'd have a four-leaf clover on him.
Yes, or three.
Or a three-leaf clover.
3.
Our next myth is a little bit of a slithery one. St. Patrick did not drive snakes out of Ireland. It's a great story, and we all know the Irish and all of us love a great story. Story sirens wouldn't be here otherwise. But it is just that, a story. Ireland is naturally snake-free.
Also, I didn't want to say this, but just seeing this myth reminded me of Snakes on a Plane. The movie.
Just picturing St. Patrick saying Samuel L. Jackson's line.
Like,
I'm tired of these snakes on this plane, on this island.
Oh, God, I love it.
All right. And another myth is that St. Patrick is the man who first brought Christianity to Ireland. He did not. Christianity was already in Ireland, as we mentioned earlier, but it didn't have many practitioners. It would be more accurate to say that St. Patrick grew Christianity within Ireland.
All right, Sarah, I think we've debunked enough. let's not ruin the fun now.
Okay.
How about we talk about some traditions revolving around this day?
All right, let's talk about the traditions. Now, it seems a bit silly to ask why we should wear green on St. Patrick's Day since we've gone through all of that history already. You know why. But why will you get pinched if you don't wear green? In Irish mythology, wearing green can hide you from the sight of leprechauns. Leprechauns love pranks and mischief, so it's best to avoid being noticed by them, along with avoiding being noticed by any of the fae.
Very true. You should know. Check out our episode on the Unseelie Court.
Right.
While we won't be going into detail about leprechauns in this episode, because, it's probably going to get its own.
Right.
Here's a quick little explanation about these pranksters. Deriving from the old Irish word lucerpan, or little body, leprechauns are tiny fairies, usually depicted as old men. These little fairy grandpas have a hidden crock, or pot, of gold, to which can only be found if they are captured and then threatened pretty nastily. Now, the leprechaun might tell you where his pot's location is, or they might just trick you into looking the other way and vanish. And then hopefully they'll be like the Hispanic grandpas that then leave you a little $20 bill in your pocket.
Where they just antagonize you and then they're like, here for your troubles.
Yeah. So my grandpas did the same thing. They'd be like, you gained some weight. Here's $20. Buy yourself something nice. That was mine.
Oh my gosh. What an experience. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in your life.
Oh.
So, with other traditions, for Irish Americans, corned beef and cabbage is the traditional St. Patrick's Day meal. In Ireland, cured pork was often preferred, but when many Irish immigrated to the United States, corned beef was more readily available.
Can I just mention how much I love corned beef and cabbage? Alex used to work as a server in an Irish pub, and we have a favorite restaurant that we go to that is also an Irish pub, which I will say it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite restaurants, but I did get mono after.
Oh, no! Oh,
no! So I say it's my favorite, but it also gave me mono.
That kind of ruins the whole kiss me, I'm Irish thing.
Yeah, I don't know. And I know it was after that day, because after that, I immediately fell ill.
Yep.
But I still love it. Give me all the goodies, except a pint of Guinness. I am not a Guinness fan. I know you are, Sarah, correct?
Not particularly. I'm not much of a beer drinker at all. But I mean, I'll have a sip or two of a stout, of a Guinness, especially on St. Patrick's Day, because, I mean, that is the best time to have it.
I mean, it kind of looks like chocolate milk. And so I stay.
That's a lot of chocolate in the milk. My gosh.
Yes, it's like you dumped all of the Nesquik into the...
Yeah, and then you were like, oh, maybe I'll just put a splash of milk to make it a little bit, a little thinner. Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, now, speaking of Guinness, you probably won't believe me when I say this, but sobriety is a St. Patrick's Day tradition. St. Patrick's Day is, at its core, a religious holiday, and it falls within Lent, the observation of Christ's 40 days in the wilderness. So for many Catholics, St. Patrick's Day is a dry holiday. On the flip side, some churches viewed St. Patrick's Day as a day off from the 40 days of Lent.
Now, you may have thought to yourself, who read the portion of the street ballad just a while ago? He sounds so dreamy. Well, Sarah and I have been lucky enough to be friends with someone in Ireland.
Our very own Irish correspondent, Adam, has quite a bit to tell us about the traditions revolving around St. Patrick's Day. Adam,
let him have it.
Take it away.
Hey listeners, firstly I'd like to thank Yenny and Sarah for having me on today's episode. I'm Adam and I'm a dear friend and listener of the podcast and their Irish correspondent, and I was honoured when they asked me to help out with this week's episode on St. Patrick's Day, or as we know it over here in Ireland, La Fé Le Pádraig. You might be asking yourself, what kind of traditions do we do over here for St. Patrick's Day? Well, from March 1st all the way to March 17th is known in Ireland as Seachtain na Gaeilge, or Irish Language Week, in which more effort is made to use of the Irish language. Now, there's another tradition here with a bit of history, that is the St. Patrick custom of drowning the shamrock or wetting the shamrock, which is historically popular because at the end of the celebrations, especially here in Ireland, a shamrock is put into the bottom of a cup, which is then filled with whiskey, beer, or cider, and it is drunk as a toast to St. Patrick, Ireland, or those present. The shamrock will either be swallowed with the drink or taken out and tossed over the shoulder for good luck. Now, there is a lot of green and shamrocks. Well, there's a bit of history behind that, because on St. Patrick's Day, it is actually customary to wear shamrocks, green clothing, or green accessories, because it is said that St. Patrick used the shamrock, a three-leaved plant, to explain the Holy Trinity to the pagan Irish. This story first appears in writing in 1726, though maybe older than that, because back in pagan Ireland, 3 was a significant number and the Irish had many triple deities, and the colour green for Ireland is from a legend from the 11th century, Labor Gabriella Erin, the Book of the Taking of Ireland. It tells of Godrill Glass, Godrill the Green, that he is bitten by the venomous snake, but saved from death by Moses, placing his staff on the snake bite, leaving him with a green mark. His descendants then settle in Ireland, a land free of snakes. One of his first descendants, Ith, visits Ireland after climbing the Tower of Hercules and being captivated by the sight of a beautiful green island in the distance. And another tradition and popular custom, the wearing of St. Patrick's Day cross was also a popular custom here in Ireland until the early 20th century. These were Celtic Christian crosses made out of paper and was covered with silk or ribbon of different colours and a bunch of rosetta or green silk in the centre. And since 2010, many famous landmarks have been lit up on St. Patrick's Day, and the first to actually do this was the Sydney Opera House and the Sky Tower in Auckland to participate, and then since then over 300 landmarks in 50 countries across the globe have gone green for St. Patrick's Day. Irish government ministers travel abroad on official visits to various countries around St. Patrick's Day to help promote Ireland as well.
Thank you so much, Adam, for taking the time to record your portions for this episode. We really appreciate your friendship and your extensive knowledge in this holiday, as well as Celtic mythology.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, the first known celebration of St. Patrick's Day in the U.S. happened right here in Florida, y'all.
Ooh!
Yes, in St. Augustine, Florida, in the year 1601, a parade was held.
Whoa.
Alligators were not present in the parade, nor was the notorious Florida man.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. Maybe maybe there was gator bites.
There we go. In the 1760s, Irishmen in the British military organized their own parade in New York City. As the years passed and Irish Catholic immigrants continued to face discrimination in Protestant America, their pride for their country and strength in numbers only pushed celebrations further. Now, celebrations in Ireland started a bit later. As we all know, British rule worked hard to stomp down on any nationalist group or rebels. The Irish would have to wait until the 20th century to fully celebrate with joyous parades on top of their traditional feast day. Their capital city, Dublin, began to hold a national festival and parade to show their pride. And, of course, we cannot fail to mention that we honor and celebrate St. Patrick on March 17th because that is his feast day within the Catholic Church, and it is believed to be the day on which he died. And while St. Patrick was never officially canonized by the Catholic Church, he died before the Catholic Church was officially established, he is viewed as a saint within today's Catholic Church, Lutheran Church, Church of Ireland, and Eastern Orthodox Church.
So, let's go into some modern media. Today, you can join the oldest and largest St. Patty's Day parade in New York City, covering 1.5 miles from Fifth Avenue to Manhattan, led by the 69th Infantry Regiment, a unit of Irish Catholic immigrants who worked tirelessly to ensure their fellow Irishmen were not discriminated against. Not too far off in Chicago, aka where Baba Yaga's sisters reside, if you catch my drift. The Chicago River is dyed green every year in celebration of St. Patrick's Day. And a hop, skip, and a boat away on the island of Montserrat in the British West Indies, there is a week-long celebration.
Ooh.
Hello. It's nicknamed the Emerald Isle due to being colonized by Irish Catholics back in the 17th century. I thought it'd be cute to add that their passport stamp is a green shamrock.
Aw.
So, should we have any parents listening in, there are plenty of children's book on St. Patrick's Day. From Curious George to a St. Patrick's Day alphabet book, there's a ton of cute little green books available for you and your kids.
It's kind of like instead of the little golden books, it's the little green books.
Yeah, it's so cute. There's so many like little leprechaun books and stuff. It's super cute. Until you realize what a leprechaun really is.
Oh.
Then it's not cute.
It isn't cute.
It's terrible. Anywho, hey, are leprechauns in the unseelie court or the sealie court? They're pranksters.
They're
but they're not
pranksters. They're not.
bad.
It depends. I bet that they trade back and forth, kind of like gnomes get
Yeah.
divided between the two courts.
There you go. For you murder mystery fans, Leslie Meyer's novel, The St. Patrick's Day Murder, part of her Lucy Stone mystery series, is a perfect standalone read. Go side by side with Lucy as she uncovers the truth about old Dan Malone's passing. Or shall I say, murder.
And while not technically a St. Patrick's Day movie, John Ford's classic film The Quiet Man, starring Maureen O'Hara and John Wayne, is a beautiful film about a retired American boxer who returns to his birthplace in Ireland and builds a life for himself there. If you want to check out the TNR article, John Ford's subversive St. Patrick's Day classic, The Quiet Man, we'll leave the link to the article in the show notes.
All right, guys, let's get into the siren call. Time to have a blast from the past. What better way to spend St. Paddy's Day than watching Disney's The Luck of the Irish? Oh, Ryan Merriman is so dreamy.
I used to love that movie as a kid.
Yeah, I still know the song.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, this land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Islands. Islands?
I think it's
from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters.
This land was made for you and me.
For you and me.
Now, you do realize that song doesn't originate from that movie, right? We're going to delete that
Anyways,
part.
what's the next song? Wait, what do you mean that song isn't from that movie?
I mean,
he sings that song.
He does sing it, but it doesn't originate from that movie.
Oh, no, I know it doesn't originate from that movie, but he does sing the song. I thought you said that song isn't from the movie,
well,
and I went...
I thought that you were saying, like, oh, yeah, like that song's featured in it, but that's a song by Woody Guthrie. Like, it came out in, 1945.
Wow.
So, yes, he does sing it, I think. I don't remember. It's been a long time since
Yeah,
I've seen
he
the movie.
does, in, the basketball court. Because it's a basketball
Yeah, that's why I was like, it's a basketball movie, and all of a sudden he's short, which is a problem, which is...
I mean,
it's
short
something.
kings rule.
Short kings rule!
So.
All right. Now, if you want something a little bit more intense, The Fugitive, starring Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, has one of the best chase scenes ever, taking place during a St. Patrick's Day parade in Chicago. I personally think it's the ultimate St. Patrick's Day movie.
I just find it funny that we go from singing like this family, and then we're like, The Fugitive.
Do we want to reverse these? I don't know.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right, friends, if you are interested as well, we've left the Confessio, written by St. Patrick himself, in the show notes.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to this sort of a little bit short episode. I know we've had a few short episodes, but there's only so much we can cover, right?
Right.
We've covered a lot of stuff today. We wish you the best. Have a Guinness or not. Have just chocolate milk, like I will. That's a lie, because I can't even have milk. Yeah, enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Adam, again for coming in. Thank you to our subscribers. We appreciate you. We also have now up the Discord. You can come in, hang out with us. As Sarah said, send us dog pictures or cat pictures or bird pictures.
It's free and open for everyone to join, so we look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Signing out.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Story Sirens. You can follow us on Instagram at Story Sirens Podcast. Want to support us? Send us a cup of Ko-fi by searching ko-fi.com/storysirens. We've got lots of treats for those who become siren seekers. All research materials can be found in the episode summary. Music by Donald Guzzi and artwork by Alexis Torres. Story Sirens is a Feather and Fin production. See you soon.